It's Wednesday, October 1st. Here's what we're looking at across the country today. High pressure settling into the northeast. That's going to lead to a really cold night tonight. In fact, freeze watches are out, frost advisories for many areas. Head to weather.gov to see if you're under anything right now. Rain moving into the Pacific Northwest. Some pretty active weather conditions here across the west, also into parts of British Columbia with showers on the way and some cold air slipping into parts of Northern California. We could see some snow into the Sierra before the week is done. High pressure continues to slide down the east coast. That's going to push some cool air all the way down into parts of the south. Some of that cool, dry air advancing as well back into parts of Michigan, Indiana, Illinois. Dew points on the way down. On the backside of this high, though, we're pretty warm and mild with a strong southwesterly to southerly flow. That's going to keep temperatures back in this region way above average. In fact, once you get up here towards the U.S.-Canadian border, average temperatures will be 20 to up to 30 degrees above average in some cases, especially out ahead of this trough that's going to be swinging into the west as we head into this weekend. Snow looks likely as we head into Friday and Saturday into parts of the Canadian Rockies, so places like Banff, a little bit of snow on the way here into the mountains, and some of that cold air starts to slip down into the northern Rockies, so I think we get some snow into the high elevations of Montana down into Wyoming as a decent storm is trying to show up out ahead of this trough that starts to develop, bringing some rain, some wind, and some cooler temperatures, not just for the northern U.S., but also into parts of the prairies of Canada, with temperatures dropping cold enough that some snow starts to mix in to the north. As we move into the weekend, into the parts of next week, not a lot of changes. I will tell you, though, that the upper pattern does start to shift up a little bit towards the 7th, 8th, and 9th. We start to see a cool shot of air, it looks like anyway, trying to move into parts of the northeast. And this pattern definitely looks a little bit different than what we're seeing right now, although I still think it's going to be above average, maybe just not as hot as it is right now. Today, we're looking at mostly dry conditions in the east, maybe a few showers into parts of Florida as we keep this onshore flow going here, and then right along the Gulf Coast states, possibly a few showers into parts of Louisiana. That continues as we head into tonight and then into Thursday, mostly dry across this region. You can see how that northeasterly flow continues. Just a few showers along the coast, maybe into parts of South and North Carolina as we head into Friday. And there's also still some high surf with our hurricanes out in the Atlantic. Here's a look at your temperatures this afternoon. Highs in the 70s and 80s. Cooler in the northeast. Look at these lows tonight. Once you get into the upstate of New York, western New York even getting pretty cold too. Into the mountain valleys, we could get down near or below freezing by the time we wake up Thursday morning. And that cool air wedging all the way down into parts of North Carolina and as far west as Michigan, as I said, into Ohio. High temperatures in the afternoon with a lot of dry air. Rebound really quickly. We'll be back up into the mid-70s, upper 70s, close to 80 in many areas, with the northeast staying relatively cool, highs in the 60s. And then we'll go on into Friday, too, here. A little bit warmer for the northeast. We stay hot across the upper Midwest, down into the Mississippi River Valley, highs in the mid-80s, close to 90, especially the further south you go. Let's go further west. A few showers through the day today across parts of really the northern plains into Nebraska, parts of South Dakota. Mostly cloudy in some of these areas too. Not a lot of rain. No real severe weather expected. That easterly flow evident here along the Gulf Coast with a few showers. We may increase the risk of a few showers Thursday afternoon and evening across southern Missouri down into parts of Louisiana and Arkansas. Here's a look at your temperatures. I'm going to push this out a little bit further because this is where it's the hottest. And as we head into tomorrow morning, look at these lows. We're talking about mid-60s for October into Minnesota, way above average. High temperatures climbing into the 80s, all the way up to the U.S.-Canadian border, even international falls. Pretty warm here. Heading into Friday, another warm day. I mean, I'm going to move through this pretty quickly. I want to show you when the cool down is coming because you may be wondering. Let's go into Saturday. It's hot. There we go. Now, finally, into Sunday, we start to feel some of those cooler temperatures first across the northern tier, and then that pushes south and east. So by the time we get into Monday morning, we may be waking up in the 20s and 30s into the mountains, 40s elsewhere. Highs get kicked back into the 50s and 60s across Iowa, feeling more like October versus maybe July or August. Heading into Wednesday morning next week, right? So we're looking 1 week really from today. Things could look a lot different across the Great Lakes region into the upper Midwest with highs maybe as low as the upper 40s to low 50s. And even further south, we push that hot air away with highs back into the 70s versus the 80s. But this is still pretty mild for October Across the west, really active as a pretty decent storm slams into parts of British Columbia, also the Pacific Northwest. Snow levels dropping at first across British Columbia, also into the mountains of Alberta, right along the border. And then we have to watch these showers that start to move into parts of California. The Sierra could pick up some snow into the high elevations, even into parts of Idaho, as this bowling ball of cold air kind of swings through this region. And then once we move into now the weekend, that rain pushes into the Rockies. So some heavy rain possible, not just in the short term, because there could be a few showers on the heavy side across parts of the Pacific Northwest. And we've seen some rain across the Southwest, but these showers heading into the weekend could pose a flash flooding threat, something we'll have to keep an eye on. Here's a look at your temperatures today across the West. Not a lot of change over the next couple of days. Relatively cool across the Pacific Northwest with more clouds, more showers around. Seasonal for this time of year, maybe a little bit below average across the Northwest.